Call to order the June meeting of the Johnson City Board of Education and welcome this great big large group we have here, even after school is out, so thank you all for being here. We always start our meeting with a moment of silence. Tonight I want to especially remember we had a young teacher at Science Hill pass away this weekend. So I'd like us to, as we have a moment of silence, to remember the family of Sonia Ostenay. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Before I turn the meeting over for our Pledge of Allegiance from our Liberty Bell friends, I would like to recognize we have someone that everyone has been. If you were at graduation, Hunter Graybill did a fantastic job reading names. We just wanted to say thank you. And if you were there, it went quickly, it was beautiful, and he did such a fantastic job. So thank you, Hunter. Now I will turn to our friends from Liberty Bell for the Pledge of Allegiance. He's coming.
Okay. We're good. All right.
Hello, I'm Reagan Hewitt. I was a sixth grader at Liberty Bell. Now I'm going to seventh grade. Now, let's do the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, my name is Holly Flora, and I am the principal of Liberty Bell Middle School. And this evening, we're going to begin by having Susan Lambert and our middle school bluegrass group come and play for us.
Thank you all so much. Tonight we have some members of our middle school bluegrass band that we started this year with the encouragement and support of central office, school board. This has been a wonderful experience for these kids, and we're looking forward to developing this curriculum more. They're going to play two pieces. The first piece that they're going to play is called Angelina Baker. And the second one that they're going to play, and I think this is funny, Pig Ankle Rag. So those are the two that are going to play. Let's give the middle school bluegrass group a round of applause.
One, Angelina Baker. Ready? 1, 2, here we go. take ankle flag. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, here we go. Now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lambert. I did want to point out that is a group that is made up of students both from Liberty Bell and Indian Trail, and is one of the many ways that Indian Trail and Liberty Bell collaborate together. There's an activity bus that goes over to Indian Trail and allows our students to go over there, and Ms. Lambert goes over there, and they work together weekly. And so they've come a long way, and we're just so proud of that group. And so I wanted to display them today. I'm delighted to be able to be here and share the work and progress of Liberty Bell Middle School throughout this school year. But I first want to sincerely thank Dr. Barnett for his leadership and ongoing support for me as a principal and for Liberty Bell as a school. I have never worked for such a hands-on and responsive superintendent. He leads our district boldly while at the same time is present within our schools, doing the work alongside of us. He's a familiar face at all of the schools in Johnson City. Not only that, he knows the names of our teachers, assistants, and custodians. He's supportive professionally and personally. Having a superintendent that expects that we do our best at work, but also at home and in our personal lives matters. And he creates a culture where we all know that we matter. We also greatly appreciate the Board of Education for always sincerely listening to our needs, taking time to come to our schools, and seeking to know our work. You work hard to support us and encourage us as educators, and we don't take this for granted. We're very aware of how rare it is to have such a hardworking and supportive Board of Education, so thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Liberty Bell has experienced a wonderful year, and we are excited to celebrate the work that has taken place this year. This was our first year of serving grades 6 through 8. The years of planning by Dr. Burnett, the BOE, central office administrators, and teachers paid off. Our students experienced a wonderful year. On day one, from the time students exited the buses at arrival to the time they boarded buses to go home in the afternoon, the students did not miss a beat. At the end of that first day of school, we were all pleasantly surprised in how successful and seamless that school day went. The first day was representative of our entire school year. One would never have guessed that we were functioning as a new group of educators working together in a new configuration with new grade levels and new students. But rather than me sharing how the first year went with our first class of sixth graders, I have invited Reagan Hewitt, Liberty Bell sixth grader, to share her reflections of her school year.
Thank you, Dr. Flora. Okay, as I said before, hello again. I am Reagan Hewitt, and I am an upcoming 7th grader at Liberty Bell Middle School. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Barnett and the board members for their service and for helping everyone at Johnson City Schools expect the best. I would also like to thank Dr. Flora and all the faculty, staff, and administration at Liberty Bell for an amazing 6th grade experience. It is an honor to be speaking in front of you today. The year started out great, let me tell you. I went to intramurals with my friends that I made along the way during my time at Woodland Elementary and at Indian Trail Intermediate School. We usually never won, but we had so much fun playing. Now, that being said, I am very competitive, just as my parents. They have to live with me. On any given family game night, I will hustle them and maybe even do a victory dance or two. I also loved the pep rallies that we had. My science and social studies teacher, Kelly Pratt, won the balloon toss. We won popsicles, and they were very delicious, juicy, tasty, beautiful works of art. Not now, Reagan. Later. We cheered on our friends and peers from the stands till we lost our voices. Now that we're talking about pep rallies, I want to talk about doing a spring pep rally. I was on the Liberty Bell golf team, but we are a spring sport, and spring sports deserve a pep rally to also be recognized, like the fall sports teams did. That is one of my suggestions to make Liberty Bell Middle School even better. Now, let me tell you about the dances. First, there was the homecoming dance with a school spirit theme. I dressed up because that's my thing. I hung out with all my friends, new and old. Then I went to the second dance called the Winter Dance. I looked like I was going to prom. I'm not kidding you. But, you know, like I said before, kind of my thing. I know that was kind of funny. I like that joke. Other students, for whatever they made them most comfortable, it was so much fun to see what everybody wore to the dance the night away. Now, my spring was busy, and I mean busy. You know those parents that say, so-and-so is very involved. All I say is, girl, please. I tried out for Tennessee Treble Honor Choir, a statewide choir that performed in Nashville in April, and made it. Tried out for Patriot Players, Liberty Bell's theater troupe, who put on the spring production, and made it. Tried out for Liberty Bell golf team, and became the only 6th grade girl to make the team, which felt pretty amazing. Then I realized that all those activities overlapped with each other. The Treble Honor Choir was on Mondays and Tuesdays. Patriot Players rehearsed on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Golf practices and matches were Monday through Thursday. I worked tirelessly with all my teachers and coaches to plan each week to make sure I was attending rehearsals, practices, and matches as much as possible. Now, this could not have happened without Coach Justin Snyder. Love him. He is awesome. Emily Broadhead, so lively, and Rebecca Griesby, who is awesome. I like to thank them for their help, or else I would have to throw in the towel for 2 activities and just go for 1. I'm so grateful to each of them for encouraging me to participate in all these activities. I am happy to report that I achieved so much of my academic goals this year. I made straight A's for the year and also received the Outstanding Science Award. I buckled down and really worked on my ELA work this year and read at least 8 novels. Notice I said 8 people. During my 6th grade year. I worked to increase my state testing scores this year as well, and I'm very pleased with my quick scores that were released at the end of the school year. I feel very prepared to enter 7th grade with all the skills and strategies I have learned this year. There's a place for everyone at Liberty Bell. There are numerous opportunities to grow, challenge yourself, and try new things, and to meet new people from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I have become more confident in my abilities. I have become more independent. I've learned how to manage my time, keep track of my assignments, and communicate with my teachers, both in person and by email. I've grown socially and learned how to better deal with preteen drama around me. I have learned and developed skills that will serve me throughout my life. Lastly, I would like to bring Dr. Flora up here. Now I'm going to run over here real quick. I'll be right back. Now, Dr. Flora had my cousin Mac before I even came to Liberty Bell. Then he switched over to Indian Trail, so I was over at Liberty Bell. He was over at Indian Trail. We played against each other at golf, so you know. But, Dr. Flora, these flowers are for you because you are an amazing principal and you're an even better person.
Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. I appreciate that. Thank you, Reagan.
Thank you, board members, for everything you do.
Thank you so much. I know that you will be seeing Reagan Hewitt here at board meetings in the future, being recognized for her many accomplishments. And just to let you know, the reason I knew that I could call upon her to do this is that she is in Patriot Players, and before our spring production asked if she could write a commercial for me to read on the morning announcements, and I said, of course. And in fact, if you'd like to do that yourself, you can. And she did and blew it away. So I told her she needed to do the morning announcements every day. She's entertaining, she's lively. So I knew that we could count on you. And so thank you, Reagan, for sharing that. Well, I should have just let her do the whole thing after that. So moving on, often when I'm interviewing teachers for positions to teach at Liberty Bell, they ask how I would describe Liberty Bell. And the word I always use to describe our school culture is collaborative. That has also been true in the work our teachers have done this year with Indian Trail, as we've worked together to ensure that we're providing a high quality and equitable middle school experience for all of the students in Johnson City. Liberty Bell teachers and academic coaches worked hard throughout the year as well to continue to provide a rigorous curriculum aligned with the latest standards, while at the same time incorporating innovative teaching strategies and approaches. We worked throughout the school year with our coaches to align our work closely with Indian Trail. Our teachers met monthly in after-school meetings to pace their teaching and to respond and share strategies to both support students who were approaching proficiency, but also extend the learning for those who were already proficient. In addition, our Liberty Bell teachers work closely together weekly as a department with academic coaches to analyze student work and support one another in professional growth. A multitude of enrichment opportunities and clubs have provided diverse learning experiences for our students, like robotics, mathletes, band, orchestra, chorus, jazz, chess, Patriot Players, Beta Club, intramural, student government, leadership development, and many others. These programs have provided our students with opportunities to explore their passions and develop lifelong essential skills. Students have continued to enjoy the comprehensive and growing sports program that Johnson City offers and encourage physical fitness, teamwork, and sportsmanship. We've even added a middle school tennis club this year that will soon become a sanctioned team. Our PTA has played a crucial role in fostering positive relationships among our families, teachers, and within our school. Regular meetings and events have been back up and running in full capacity this year to support our students and encourage family involvement. Our PTA has also provided incredible motivation and encouragement to our teachers by providing monthly meals and helping fund student-centered initiatives that enhance the opportunities we have here at Liberty Bell.
Water? Yes, sir. There we go.
In closing, we're proud of the strides we have made in providing abundant opportunities for our students and supporting our committed teachers at Liberty Bell, and we are already hard at work getting ready to welcome our students in August. We look forward to continuing to expect the best and to be the best for our students.
Thank you, Dr. Flora, and I know I speak for the whole board when we say thank you for all the work you've done for us, and best of luck.
Thank you very
Would
much.
you stand right there? If you will notice the color of the roses.
Colin, I need a picture.
That,
The proper colors of the roses, thank you. There are some seats up here, by the way, if anyone would like to sit down.
those colors, by the way, are maroon and gold.
Just like my dress. Just like my dress. I got.
Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is recognitions.
Good evening. Thank you for attending the board meeting tonight. I know school's out, but the June meeting is starting to become something of like a championship Monday where we recognize a lot of students and some staff for their accomplishments throughout the year and especially in the springtime. So we have quite a few people to recognize this evening. We want to begin by recognizing Jordan Dyson, third grade teacher from Woodland Elementary. Jordan was recently named Tennessee Education Technology Association Outstanding Teacher of the Year. Jordan was the first teacher from Johnson City Schools to be recognized for this award by this organization. Let's congratulate Jordan Dyson. Next, and it's only fitting that since it's Liberty Bell's night, we have some Liberty Bell students to recognize. Liberty Bell Middle School student athletes who ran track this past year. Our recognition is for the girls 4x800 relay team who set a state record of 10 minutes, 1 second, beating the old state record by 2 seconds. Members of the 4x800 relay team are Marty Bowen. If you're here, if you could come up, please. Rainey Hunter, Marty Lane, and Avery Whitson. If you ladies are here, if you'll come up, please.
One of y'all hold it in the center. All right, y'all look right here, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Perfect. Thank you.
Next, we want to recognize Rainey Hunter. Rainey won the middle school state championship in the girls' 800 and 1600 meter races. Congratulations to Rainey.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Next, we have a couple of students who won't be here with us tonight, but we want to recognize them anyway. We want to recognize Cadet Bradley Davis and Cadet Seth Black from the Science Hill JROTC program. These students recently competed against 46 other teams from around the nation and finished 9th in the armed rifle drill at the National High School Drill Team Championships in Daytona Beach, Florida. They're unable to be here this evening because they're actually doing JROTC stuff. So let's give them a round of applause anyway. We have a big crew of Science Hill showstoppers in the back, and because they performed at a very high level this year. These students participated in the Tennessee High School Speech and Drama League competition at Bartlett High School, where they earned 8 state championships and 4 runner-up finishes. As I call your name, please, state champions, if you'll come up. Madeline Campbell, solo acting. Elizabeth Clapp, prose interpretation. Olivia Castillo and Owen Hoover, duo interpretation. Adam Everhart, after dinner speaking. Sarah Nipper, impromptu speaking. Daniela Quayle, original oratory. Kaya Thompson, dramatic interpretation. And Sophie Young, poetry interpretation.
Let's get our coaches up here too.
Mr. Marshall, Mr. Graybill, if you'll come up, please.
Y'all want to go over this? Hold on.
All right, come on, everybody say cheese!
If you'll just stay right there, we're going to bring some of the rest of them up. Other students who placed at the competition include Nora Honeycutt, humorous interpretation. Henry Hance, poetry interpretation. Sophia Stone and Shivan Jain, public forum debate. Kaylee Rogers, storytelling. Spencer Potter and Taylor Roby, duo interpretation. Amy Lee, prose interpretation. Lily Campbell, after dinner speaking. Isabella Webb, solo acting. Seamus Blackburn, program oral interpretation. and Ben Voss, TV Broadcasting.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Ready? You can't see me, I can't see you. Ready? Here we go. We're good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Got it. Good job.
Hold on, one more.
2 more, come on.
3, 2,
Good job. Next, we want to recognize Emmett Watson from Science Hill High School. Emmett was state runner-up in the TSSAA Class 3A Boys 400-meter race.
Stay put in. I'm gonna get- Yeah, go ahead. Mom, you come on.
Oh, yeah, you're so welcome up.
Mom is my best friend.
All right, one more. You ready? Here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to recognize the Science Hill Boys Tennis Team. This team earned a TSSAA Class 2A state runner-up for their recent performance at state championships. Congratulations to Daniel Haddadin, Arsham Kortamiri, Patel, Shriyan Paparetti, Newton Raff, Jackson Temple, and Cooper Weems. We can get-
Congratulations. All right, right here, and then parents, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Stay still.
Next, we want to recognize the duo of Leah McBride and Josie Reed, who won the 2023 TSSAA Class 2A's doubles state championship.
Anything else, Mom? 3. Awesome. Come on, man.
Come on, Coach, get up here.
Perfect. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
You can stay right there.
Yeah.
And finally, we want to recognize the entire Science Hill girls tennis team who recently won the TSSAA Class 2A state championship by defeating Houston in the finals. As I call your name, if you'll come up, Madison Berry, Lexi Bryant, Julie Johnson, Olivia Nicely, Armida Cordemery, Lizzie Luna, Leah McBride, and Josie Reed. Second state championship in 3 years.
I'll get my email later. All right, ready to start here real quick? Here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nothing like it. Congratulations. Everybody else I see getting raises. You need to tell Turner I need a raise.
All right, you email him.
Yeah. Congratulations.
All right, we can do this part. Next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes or additions?
Move to adopt.
There's a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor say yes? Yes. The agenda. We're approving the agenda.
I know.
Oh.
I think we need to, maybe not add it to the agenda. I'd like to see us send something to the city in recognition of them stepping forward, unlike another governing body, and thank them as much as we can for what they're doing for Town Acres School.
That's great. Just for sake of noise, can we talk about that during the finance?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll make sure we notate that on our finance committee. Are there any other additions? All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, that brings us to correspondence, delegations, and communications. We have had no one sign up to speak, so we'll go to reports from the superintendent and staff.
Tonight is a report from Johnson City Schools Foundation Board. Mrs. Timbra Aldridge is here to give us that report tonight. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak about the Johnson City Public Schools Foundation. The foundation was established in 1989 to enrich public education of the Johnson City schools. We have a 501c3 nonprofit status. The foundation acts as a nonprofit channel by which scholarships and awards can be given to Science Hill High School students on behalf of private citizens and other organizations. The board consists of 15 directors, a representative from the school board, and a representative from the Johnson City Schools. And I will tell you, just as a plug, Todd Barnett is absolutely wonderful. He does a fabulous job in keeping us up to date on what's going on with the school system. In January, we installed new officers. I am honored to be the president this year. Bob Parker is the vice president. Ed Basconi is our treasurer, and Lisa Smalling is our secretary. The board meets quarterly and other times, obviously, as needed. On the financial report, hopefully each of you in your packet has a copy of our financial report. It is from April 2022 to March, of 2023. Our checking account is at $84,892.91. We have a money market with $26,003.33. Our designated fund sits at $52,690.80. Our non-designated is $35,202.11. So our total designated and non-designated funds are at $84,892.91. We also have $25,697 invested in with the East Tennessee Foundation, and also the Go Long Fund, which you all turned over to us, I think in 2022. That has been also invested in the East Tennessee Foundation, and right now it totals at $182,046. Our fundraising, obviously the Spellabration is our major fundraiser. It's an adult spelling bee, normally held in the spring. This year, after 2 years of not being able to do it due to COVID, we brought it back. It was held in the Liberty Bell Middle School Gymnasium on April 13th. We had 20 teams participating, and I certainly appreciate the school system's support of that event. This year's bee netted $9,705, and the money raised this year is going to create a digital communication lab for Indian Trail. As you all recall, last year we gave $15,000 to Liberty Bell, and so we felt like this year, since we do have 2 middle schools, it was only fair to give Indian Trail that money and to let them start a digital communication lab as well. Teacher grants, they're mainly funded through $30,000 from the Mooneyhan Family Foundation. In March of 2023, we had the privilege of awarding teacher grants, and I will tell you that is absolutely my favorite day of the year. We awarded 24 grants, totaling $31,714.99. So the breakdown of grants awarded are as follows. Woodland received 1 grant, $1,598. Liberty Bell had 6 grants of $7,621. Science Hill had 4 grants, $5,606. Southside, 5 grants, $5,038. Mountain View, 4 grants, $4,400. Northside, 2 at $3,851, Indian Trail 1 at $1,598, and Lake Ridge 1 at $2,000. You all, I think, should have the further breakdown in your packet that will actually say who actually got those grants and what those grants are for. We had great coverage from the media. I have to thank Colin for all his support in rounding up the media. WJHL was there, WCYB, as well as the Johnson City Press, and we actually made the front page of the paper. So we were real excited about that. Our total grants that we have funded from 2016 to this year is 156, and that totals $156,456. So the foundation is very, very proud of that. Also, the foundation holds funding of various scholarships funded by individuals for Science Hill High School students. On May 15th of this year, the Johnson City Public School Foundation was honored to play a part in recognizing outstanding student achievement in the Johnson City Schools Awards Day. A total of 16 scholarships were awarded. And the following scholarships were awarded that day. Southside Elementary, Amanda Grace Minutola Scholarship, and that was $500 to J.C. Ramsey. Johnson City School Public School Foundation Scholarship, $1,000 to Morgan, and I'm going to butcher these names, and I'm going to apologize right up front, but Sagona, I think. Sandy Bain Scholarship, $1,000 to Patrick Cohen, and $1,000 to Logan Smith. Sheila Building Cox Love of Community Scholarship, $5,000 to Julia Gilmore. The Harry Gibson Cheerleading Scholarship, $1,000 to Riley Thomason. Mildred Perryman West Women in Science Award, $1,000 to Kennedy Cox. E.E. Hawkins Math Award, $100 to Jocelyn Reed. The Go Long Science Technology Scholarship, $1,000 to Holden Hott. Barnabas Award, $500 to Riley Thomason and $500 to Jet Swartz. And then the Liberty Bell Middle School Incentive Scholarship, went to Britton Dugan, Julia Gilmore, Jacob Nay, Jocelyn Reed, and Will Dollar, and each of those received $500 each. Other updates, obviously, we had the Topper Studio, which we funded $25,000 toward in 2018, or 19 maybe. And that ribbon cutting was held this year. And obviously the board, the foundation board members were on hand for that exciting event. Also, at our January 2003 board meeting this year, the Kermit Tipton board members provided their history to us. Due to all the Kermit Tipton board members getting up in age, they are looking to partner with the Johnson City Public School Foundation to keep that scholarship going. We designated 2 people from the Foundation Scholarship Committee to sit on the Kermit Tipton board so the foundation can learn all the guidelines and all the processes. The goal is to keep that same guideline and same processes going. So we participated in the April 11th, 2023 selection process for this year's scholarship recipients, and the foundation will take the management of the scholarship once the current board members can no longer do that. And in your packet, I hope you'll find some pictures that we presented to you just to give you a little bit of taste of what some of the things that the school foundation has been doing. And as always, we value your input and love your feedback. And so feel free to reach out to us at any time if there's any special projects that the school system needs, or if there's anything further that you would like to see us do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have our building projects update. Brian Ross is here, and thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Hello and good evening. Things are winding down at Lake Ridge Elementary. They are wrapping up probably by the end of next week. The last group of classrooms will be done with their HVAC upgrades. So the summer will be spent sort of tying all the systems in together, bringing the controls online and testing, and just make sure everything is operating properly. They have completed the paving, the site paving, and the basketball court is done. Looks really nice. This summer, they'll be doing a little bit of touch upgrading and some fencing and things like that, but it's really shaping up nicely. At Science Hill, they are in high gear. They're working on the current renovation of Phase 4, which includes 4 science labs. That should be done sometime next month in July, those 4 rooms, along with the group of restrooms that are in that same hallway. And since school has dismissed, they have also started Phase 5 of the classroom renovations, which is the last 6 classrooms, science labs. They have also begun work in the Grand Topper Hall restrooms, and they have also begun work in the art room. And so those all represent the balance of the project. Phase 4 will be done before school starts, the rest of those. Well, and Grand Topper Hall should also be done before school starts. The rest of those will continue through the end of the year, basically. And then at Indian Trail, the field house at Indian Trail, the exterior walls have been framed to enclose the room. And our mason is also busy separating the restrooms into the public use restrooms from those that will be available from that locker room or changing room. And so we have some equipment, HVAC equipment, some other materials on order. And then within the next couple of weeks, we'll begin putting in electrical and HVAC systems. That's all I have.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Next, we have our financial report ending April 30, 2023, Leah Valley.
Revenues for the month of April totaled $7,801,000. At the end of April, we had the majority of property tax collections for the year, and we were 8.9% above the previous year. Total revenues for April were 5.4% above April 2022. Expenditures for the month of April totaled $7,016,000, and total expenses through April were 9.3% above April 2022. As of today, the bank account had a balance of $16.7 million. Are there any questions on the April financial report?
That is an action item. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed?
Next report from Leah is Next report from Leah is an update on sales tax BEP.
In the month of April, deposits to the BEP account was $248,000 for the city and $166,000 for the school. As of April 30th, the account had a balance of $9,756,000.
Any questions concerning this report? Okay. Next, we have our 2022-23 school year encumbrances. Leah Valley as well.
These are the outstanding purchase orders for 22-23 that the schools feel there's a chance that they won't be able to close out and pay by June 30th. So in order to pay those out in the new school year, they do need approval from the board.
Move to approve.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed?
Next report is a budget amendment for 2022-23. Leah Valley.
This is the second budget amendment for 22-23. We did one budget amendment in the fall, and then some of these items we've approved individually to come from fund balance, but it just picks all those up and then just does a final budget amendment for the year. The budget amendment increases revenues by $622,445 and increases expenditures by $3,856,378. Some of the items in the expenditures increase is the one-time bonus, the math textbook adoption that's needed from fund balance, the Science Hill bathrooms renovations, the Indian Trail field improvements. With increased sales tax revenues, we haven't budgeted those revenues, but we do need to budget the increased expenses to the PEP account and the trustees commission, the Power School online enrollment, and then just other expenses that have come up throughout the year. Are there any questions on the budget amendment?
I had a question.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that total $8,360,000 in the second paragraph, that includes the first budget amendment numbers also along with.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the total budgeted from fund balance. We will not use that much. Right now, we're projected for revenues on the locals to come about 4 million above budget. But again, we don't ever increase the revenues for local revenues during the year. We
Right,
only
I
do
get
it.
that. I just
Mhm.
was
Yes,
confused on the total because that's the first one plus this one.
plus the original budget had funds coming from fund
Yes,
balance, so
okay.
that's the complete
Oh,
total.
okay, okay. In addition to the original. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know that we cannot do anything about this trustees commission, but I would like for us to put that on our agenda when we meet with our legislators in the fall and to give them notice we'd like to discuss that.
There have been several bills introduced, and I think that's a fine place to put some energy behind.
Yes, thank you.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Hager?
I'd like for Dr. Carter to publicly announce how much money this board leaves in the office of the trustee. You have that figure?
Yes, $95,000.
No, it's,
Well, that's,
The increase,
yes.
what's the total number
The
that
let
total-
we?
me see here.
And I think I asked you this, and I could maybe look at an email, but you probably can find it before me, Leah.
And while they're looking, this is something for everybody to know. It used to be a lot of work. Now they click a couple buttons on the computer and
So-
still get the same amount
So
of money.
this is the money that we give to get our money.
Yes.
We give it to the county for that trustee to do it.
And I've got that right here. It'd be $560,000 we have budgeted.
So for
After
this,
the amendment.
for this year, $560,000.
Yes.
For the record.
Speak into your microphone, Mr. Hager.
And for the record, the county school board also contributes, and at least that amount, probably more, to the trustee's office.
Thank you. Any other discussion? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Next, we have the 2023-24 budget and pay scales.
Is this an action item?
Yes, back in May, the board did approve the general fund budget, but didn't include Educare or ECLC programs. Plus, we also have the federal projects, special projects, and food service funds for the budgets to be approved.
Do you want to just hit the highlights of the budget?
Yes. So on the general purpose school fund, the total budget expenditures is $97,730,000 approximately. Total budget revenues is $96,438,000. Is funded from fund balance is for our Educare program approximately $178,000, and for one-time budget expenditures for equipment and building improvements $1,113,000. Our food service fund has a total budget revenues and expenditures total $3,869,000. Our federal projects and our state or special projects funds, those are just estimated figures. We don't know those grant amounts yet. We'll always do a budget amendment in the fall when we get the allocations. But we're estimating for our federal projects fund, total expenditures of $10,416,000, revenues of $10,390,000, and then $26,000, that's a match transfer in. And then for our state projects funds, total expenditures is $3,146,000. Revenues, $3,126,000. And again, we have a match of $19,600 in there.
And you don't need to do, a lot on the pay scale, but could you just give a brief
Yes.
recap of the changes into our pay scale?
Yes. So we had multiple pay scales that we did adjustments. We created a new scale for our school nurses to give them credit for different levels of education and experience. On our classified or hourly pay scale, our lanes 1 through 5 saw a pay adjustment. So all the scales at least reflect a 6% increase, but those lanes 1 through 5 see a higher percentage, 1 having the greatest percentage, and then as we got higher, that percentage went down some. On the teacher pay scale, we added a step at year 23. And then middle school and head custodians have been moved up a lane for their added responsibilities they have for athletics. And then also our permanent substitutes were adjusted a lane.
And all of our employees received a 6% raise.
Yes.
In addition to the step increases that they
Yes.
receive.
Yes, so the budget does include the 6%, those adjustments, and the step. Yeah, make sure I didn't miss anything. We also added fund positions that were regularly funded from ESSER the past few years, except for the classroom reduction teachers, size reduction. We had a number of positions that attendance support and some others that were being funded by ESSER that we picked up with this budget.
I've got a couple of questions, but before we do that, is there a motion to approve the budget? Is there a second?
Second.
So we've had some communication from the county, and Dr. Burnett and I and Ms. Simpson were at their budget meeting this morning. There's a potential for us to lose $2 million in funding that we were expecting from the county. We don't know if that's going to happen, so it's too early to make adjustments. I assume you have some plans in place.
Yes.
And you don't have to go over those now because it may not happen. What is our timing like? When do we have to have that in place by July 1st?
No. Right now, the possible loss is looking to be $2 million in revenues. The city is scheduled to vote on the budget for the third reading on June 15th. My understanding that the county won't vote until June 22nd. With the 23-24 budget, we've increased local option sales tax by approximately $3.4 million. So even with a $2 million reduction, we're still up. So if we have worried about the maintenance of effort and what that would do, it still would not cut us below this current year's maintenance of effort level. And the state only looks at budget to budget when looking at the maintenance of effort. So I've reached out to the Department of Ed's finance department last week to verify, make sure, and they said that we can do a budget amendment after, but all budgets have been passed. And as long as our budget amendment doesn't reduce below the 22-23 year, then it won't cause any issues with that maintenance of effort.
Will the city commission have to approve that then also if we do that?
They would do it like any of our other budget amendments, so.
Okay. I think that's my only question. Are there other questions? There's a motion and a second. This is I guess we've already voted on the budget, but since this is what it is, let's do a roll call vote.
Mr. Tom Hager,
Yes.
Ms. Kathy Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Jonathan Kinnick,
Yes.
Ms. Beth Simpson,
Yes.
Ms. Paula Truce,
Yes.
Dr. Ginger Carter,
Yes.
Mr. Herb Greenlee.
Yes.
Thank you. This might be a good time, Mr. Hager, when it's a little quieter in here, to bring up the thought that you had about our city commission.
I don't want to jump the gun, but I don't know if we would do a resolution or a letter, or we need to do something. Thanking them for what they're doing for us this year. I'll just throw that out. Somebody else smarter than me can come up with what to do.
I'm currently working on some notes for us all to sign, but I do think a resolution would be appropriate.
I think it is important to recognize that we have a great working relationship with our city commission, and we appreciate that. And I think a resolution is a great idea. Perhaps we can do that at our August meeting as we kick off the school year and budgets are done. Seems to probably a little premature right now.
And specifically, well, I mean, right now it might be good to put out there that we support this. It's only been through one reading, right? It's got 2 more to go.
That's correct.
So it might be good to put something out now just to say that we're behind the city commission in supporting this, tax increase to help us get a new town acres. I'd rather do something sooner. We can still do August, but I'd rather do something now to help push the tax increase through and get the public knowing.
So what are you thinking?
I'm not sure because I just heard Tom's idea, so it's still percolating. But just something to put out there to say thank you and that we support it at the same time, because it's not finalized yet. So we still want to make sure the public is behind it, and that was our talk with the city commissioners in the past. Also, they wanted to make sure we support it. We wanted to make sure they do. So let's do something. They made the first move and passed it on the first reading. So let's do something to say, we appreciate that, and we encourage the public to get behind it to get us a much needed new school.
Any thoughts on what that might be?
I mean, like a press release
Something like that. Colin?
or having our
Colin can come up
board
with something.
chair or superintendent.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Yeah.
I guess we could do a vote of recognition and thanks to our city commission for the work that they've done and support for the actions they've taken on this year's budget.
Yeah.
And then do a resolution in August.
And if you did that, then we would send over a letter recognizing that vote. We could do
Yeah.
that.
And get it public on.
I was
all
going to
our
say, and I think the thing is to
social
make it
media,
public.
Everything else. Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because we can privately thank them, but we really need the community to rally behind this for.
Right. So we
Yeah.
Besides the thanks, I really
Right.
wanted to say that we support what they're doing and encourage the public to support them also.
Agree.
Okay, so we will send a letter of thanks and maybe we will publish that on our website.
Yep.
And to the city manager.
And to the city manager, you're right.
Yeah.
The commission and the city manager.
Yeah. Website, social media, everywhere we can.
Johnson City Press.
Yep.
They're not here.
Tell them.
All right, that sounds like a plan. I don't think Actually, let's take a vote on that, just to get it in the record. So, Jonathan, is that a motion?
Yes, that's a motion.
That motion is to send a letter of thanks and support for the action that the city has taken on this year's budget, and then publicize that through social media and on our website.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Any other discussion on this? All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any opposed? Okay, we'll do that.
Thank you. Next, we have our 2023-24 internal activity funds, site-based funds, Educare, and ECLC budgets.
Last item I have for you. This is the internal school uniform accounting policy manual requires each school to furnish the Board of Education an internal activity fund budget each year for the board information and approval. We also include all those other budgets to make sure they're following up, being mindful, and then the Educare and ELC are folded into our general fund budget. Are there any questions?
I'm sure everybody read all 60 pages. Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes? Yes. Any opposed? All right, thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Thank you for.
Lots of
thank you
big
for
stuff.
A lot of work. Thank you.
Thank
Next, we have a discussion and transition about Johnson City Virtual Academy's transition to services at Liberty Bell Middle School and Science Hill High School, asking for approval of that. Dr. Timms and Mr. Leo are coming up. And I wanted to mention that we had Dr. Timms' son, who's a PhD candidate at the University of Iowa, decided he'd like to spend his evening watching his father work. So Nathan Timms, soon to be Dr. Nathan Timms, is in the audience as well. Thank you.
Go Hawks.
That's very supportive family.
All right. It seems like it wasn't too long ago that we were up here creating Johnson City Virtual Academy in the midst of a very different time. And I know we sent this presentation out a little earlier, so Mr. Lay and I both were glad to answer any questions as we go through this. But we just wanted to give a glimpse back. Mr. Leo is going to sort of walk us through what has happened with enrollment at Johnson City Virtual Academy. And I just want to note before Mr. Leo talks, you know, a lot of districts chose not to do a virtual option. A lot of districts chose to open virtual schools like we did. A lot of districts chose to enroll their students with different online academies. And there's a lot of mixed results out there. And obviously last year, I'm going to look over at Dr. Anderson. You know, Johnson City Virtual Academy did E-Plan just like everyone else, and they were a reward school last year, like several of our other schools. But as situations have changed and we continue looking at enrollment and what parents are looking for, it has caused us to come to a point where we're here tonight to talk about a transition with virtual. So, Mr. Leo, you want to talk about just very quickly about enrollment trends?
Yes. So what you see up here is two charts that we included in this slide show both the 3-year trend, one of the grade level, and then one of the total enrollment trend. And based on our analysis of the past 3 years, we have observed a consistent downward trend in the enrollment figures. During our initial year, we successfully enrolled a total of 162 students. However, as we forecast for the upcoming year, we anticipate a significant decrease, with projections indicating 73 students in total. And among these, there's going to be our 23 students in the grades 6 through 8.
So any questions about, and these are confirmed enrollments for next year. So we're currently looking at 60 students, and just for the board's review, we've been employing full-time teachers in grades 6 through 8. We began with 5 through 8, but when we dropped 5th grade off when we opened the 2 middle school concept up, so we've been serving 6 through 8 with full-time teachers. And then at the high school, I'll look back at Dr. Carter, we have actually been assigning a period to various teachers throughout the building where they were teaching virtually in all of our core subjects, as well as marketing in the CTE area. And we've been using special education services from our own special ed teachers to serve our students with IEPs. So we've had a lot of staff involved other than just the ones who were employed at JCVA. We've had a lot at Science Hill as well. So just to review a bit, the trends indicate that we do still have some interest, but we've been looking very, very closely at the numbers, the financial viability of supporting the number of positions that we have been supporting with the Virtual Academy. And, I put this note in here. We have proven that managing our own and being very involved with our own students has worked academically for our students. And just as I was talking earlier with some different board members at the JCVA graduation, we've got a lot of those students who are going on to some very highly recognized four-year programs. So it has worked for a niche of our students out there. Not offering a virtual option within our district as we move forward could have some of our own students possibly it could impact our enrollment because they would obviously, if they still want to have a virtual experience, they would have to go to some other options out there. And I'm not, shy to stand up here and say a lot of those are not as successful academically as what we've done in Johnson City and what we're proposing tonight. So this new virtual pathway that we're proposing to the board tonight could actually expand options for our families while also bringing students back under the Liberty Bell and the Science Hill High School umbrellas. And students enrolled virtually would be either at Liberty Bell for 6-8, or they would be under the Science Hill umbrella at 9-12. And we would actually ask the board tonight to take the action to dissolve the Johnson City Virtual School as a school with a school number. So over the past year, Mr. Lay and I have talked about this a lot, looking at a variety of solutions that we could continue this virtual pathway. We have had some very rich conversations. I hate to, Dr. Flora is leaving. We've had some very outside the box options, and we've served a lot of our students, I know, at Liberty Bell with the virtual option because other in-person options were not working. We really don't want to be able to give that up. We looked at continuing trying to combine the classes and have our own teachers offer them, but that really was leading to too many preparations and very, very small classes, especially at the high school level. It was very hard for me to be able to go to the high school team and say, I need a 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade English teacher one period to serve 3 or 4 students virtually during those periods. And it would up the enrollment in those others. And then in talking with Leah, it was becoming cost prohibitive to us to look at the number of staff that were involved for the confirmed enrollment that we had in 2023 and 24. That led us back to an option that we looked at a few years ago. We had sat through a presentation from them both in person and virtually. I know Dr. Barnett has met the representative from Pearson. I've been able to meet in person with the representative from Pearson. So what we're bringing to you tonight is an option that we really feel like partnering with Pearson for a virtual option, not a virtual academy where we send them our students and they enroll them in someone else's virtual program and they are no longer our students, but where they remain our Johnson City students and not enrolled in someone else's program. That's really what we want to offer tonight as a solution to continue this chapter in Johnson City and to continue to allow us to offer this virtual pathway in grades 6 through 12.
Let me mention something before you. The recommendation from us would have been if the state had not required us to have a virtual academy, to have virtual learning, we would have recommended not this, but I think this is what we would end up coming back to, but we would have had virtual learning at Liberty Bell and at Science Hill. And that's the state required a virtual academy to do that. Now they do not require that from us. So we're able to fold that into two of our schools. We could do it at the elementary. We just choose not to do so.
Right.
Choose not to recommend it.
So just a little bit about the option that we're looking at. Pearson is a very well-known name for a lot of reasons in education, but for their virtual schools option, they offer a lot of solutions, and the solution that we really want to take a look at is where they are actually employing certified Tennessee teachers who reside in Tennessee that we would enroll our students with, and they would be in classes taught by those Tennessee certified teachers. We would have a district employee. I'll just move forward here just a bit. to who would be in constant contact with those teachers, as well as with the counselors at Liberty Bell and Science Hill. They would still be enrolled as students at Liberty Bell and Science Hill. And our student success coordinator, we're probably hoping to employ a teacher who has been very experienced with us in a virtual environment to actually be housed at Topper Academy with Mr. Leo, and would be available by appointment and do regular check-ins with our own students who are being taught by the students or by the teachers who are employed with Pearson. But our parents would have someone within Johnson City Schools that they would have direct contact with and very quick contact with to ask questions, to serve as an intermediary between themselves and the teachers. And the option that we've looked at, and we've looked at other school systems, not just in Tennessee, but across the country who have employed this option, this is the next best thing to having your own virtual academy within your district, because those teachers are employed within the state of Tennessee. They're certified by us. All the testing would still be administered by us because those students are still under the Liberty Bell and the Science Hill umbrella. So they would be taught by not in person, but by live online teachers in all of their core academic subjects, including several CTE offerings. Dr. Decker, the one we've been able to support has been marketing. That's what we've been supporting in-house with Rose Hilton. That's who's been teaching that one virtually. But now we'd be able to expand that. It also gives us the capability, if we ever wanted to look at this down the road, to start approaching some blended options where students could have some virtual classes as well as some in-person classes. That could be something that we could work toward if the board was interested in that. A lot of districts have moved to that model where they have some students who are taking some classes virtually and then they're coming on campus for some in-person classes. So it offers us some flexibility, especially at the high school level, and at the middle school level, it allows us to continue providing those families. And Mr. Leo, you might want to say a few things about that. There are families that this has worked really, really well for.
Yeah, I think some of the data is not measurable, and it's those conversations you have with parents. We graduated over 40 students in the last 2 years. We have 26 students that will be graduating from that program next year. So the emotional connection you make with these students, this is a platform for them to be successful. And what's so great about Pearson is it's just going to complement all the great things that we're still doing. We're still going to be that team. We're still going to have those mission requirements, mission teams. We're going to be looking at students, making sure we put students in a platform that they're going to be successful in. And we've just had a tremendous amount of parent support throughout the process in the last 2 years.
So the last thing I wanted to take a look at real quickly would be what Pearson's responsibilities are versus what our responsibilities as a district would be, remembering that we're keeping those students under our enrollment umbrella. They would be responsible for delivering a full curriculum for every student that we enroll with them in grades 6 through 12. Their online platform looks very, very similar to what our students are already used to with Canvas or with Edmentum courseware that we use within the district. This was a key piece to us, that all of the instruction is provided by Tennessee certified K-12 teachers who are in the state of Tennessee. We would have a full-time implementation specialist and a success partner on the Pearson side as well as on our side. And they have some very proven track records with their training and with student support. And on our side, we would continue with Mr. Leo to have full accountability and program oversight of who gets into the program and when they exit the program. Looking at student enrollment, they would continue to be enrolled as Johnson City students, so they are still on our enrollment and generating funding from the state for us. Enrollment and academic placement would take place through Mr. Leo and the student success coordinator that we would be employing to work alongside him. School counseling and special education services, that person would coordinate with Liberty Bell and Science Hill so that the counselors and the special ed department would continue to provide the same type of services we've been providing to our virtual students. And state testing, so any associated assessments, that those would still be given by us just like they were through the virtual academy. And then lastly, the granting of diplomas, it would be a Science Hill High School diploma. So the Johnson City virtual diploma would be no more. They would actually fall back under and just be a program of Science Hill High School. And then that last piece there, which we think is very important in this model, is having that person inside the district that our parents and our students would have a connection with as the success coordinator with our partners at Pearson. Financially, we didn't have this number in there. Leah and I have talked about this a great deal. It would be a substantial savings to us as a district to move forward with this model. The price per student for a full-time enrolled student is $2,889 per year to place them with Pearson for a full-time virtual program. Questions?
Are there other districts locally that are using Pearson?
Other districts locally, there are some that are using the model where they actually place them with another online academy. And there's a few districts in the state that run for the state a Connections Academy, and they actually become their students. Locally, I don't think anyone in the First Tennessee region. There are several West Tennessee districts that we compare to who are using this model. What we really like about this model is they remain our students. We're not placing them with another school district, so that our family, we're not looking to go out and recruit from outside of Johnson City. This is to serve our families inside of Johnson City who are looking for this option and remain connected to Johnson City schools.
Well, obviously, if Pearson has certified Tennessee teachers, there's Tennessee systems. Have you talked to any systems that are using Pearson?
So the systems in West Tennessee, I've not talked with those systems. We've mainly been working through our success coordinator, but she has sent me data from their most recent school year, and looking at how their students performed versus their in-person brick and mortar students, there was very, very little difference. And I think one of the reasons why the virtual academy has been so successful is we have had a gatekeeper, Mr. Leo, who has made sure that our students who go into the virtual option for us have been academically successful. And if they are not, we've moved them outside of that option. If those families were not happy, we have had a few go to some of the other virtual options that are out there, because we've said from the beginning, we really want a very rigorous experience for our students, no matter what environment that they're in. And that's why this option for us, and looking at some of the data from some of the West Tennessee districts, was impressive.
And have you had any feedback from families about the possible move to Pearson?
No, we haven't in particular to Pearson, but we have several conversations in May with parents about the transition back to Science Hill High School and Liberty Bell. And they're really excited. And I think that has been a connection that has, I hate to say decline in our 3-year trend. Decline is such a strong word. I think it's mostly because of that connection between their base school. It was non-existent. And I think having that connection back is going to be, we're going to see our numbers grow with the program.
We didn't want to move too far marketing too quickly until we had a chance to bring this to the board, because it's not a dramatic transition, but it is a transition that's different than just closing the virtual option down altogether in Johnson City.
So for the first year, you're not planning on offering the hybrid option of in-person and virtual?
That has not been our plan.
Okay.
And I'm going to look at Dr. Carter. That's not one that we've talked about at the high school. What it does give us the opportunity to do moving forward is to look at that option, obviously, as trends change for how students attend high school and what kind of programs they're looking for and what families are looking for. It definitely gives us that option.
Okay.
I would be really interested in seeing us look at that very seriously, because I think there's some higher level AP classes that could benefit some of our virtual students.
Right.
As I recall, when we went to the virtual academy, the kids that were there, I know they got their own diploma and they did not get a Science Hill diploma. But as I recall, they weren't allowed to do things on Science Hill campus, like join teams and join clubs.
They actually did. We had a cooperative agreement.
Okay, so they were
Yes.
allowed to do that. So they're
Exactly,
still,
yes.
those kids will still be allowed to
Absolutely.
do
No,
all
we
of
actually had a
the.
cooperative agreement with them. I know Keith Turner and I schools across the state hashed that out at the TSSAA level with the cooperative agreement.
So the extracurriculars are available to all
Absolutely.
the kids who will be doing the Pearson. Okay.
I have some questions. So 6 through 8 will be at Liberty Bell and 9 through 12 at Science Hill. So if Mr. Lao is over that umbrella, obviously can't be at both schools at once. So direct discipline issues would just be the respective principals, I'm guessing, at each school until.
If there's discipline issues, I'm looking at Mr. Leo, those would probably still filter to
For
him,
him.
because they're not physically on campus at either one of those schools.
Sounds like their parents.
Yes.
And so, okay, so that was that question. What is the time commitment? If someone just says, we're interested in a semester or a 9-week block, what is the time commitment?
So Pearson offers 2 packages. One is a semester and one is a full year package. And as we've done with the Virtual Academy, we've had them commit to either a semester or the full year.
Okay. And I'm assuming because we are going to do this on campus, even though it's virtual, homebound is still homebound for.
That's a totally different.
Yes. So
yeah.
we're keeping
Right.
all that.
Mhm.
They would not have a virtual option. That will just stay under homebound if they're homebound for
Yeah, and I
whatever
don't know,
reason.
Mystique, I don't know if Dr. Wood is here or not. Homebound is under a totally
Right.
different
So
umbrella.
we'll do that. Okay. That was it. Thanks.
Okay.
Do they physically have to be in the state?
So we have had students who have not physically been on site. There was a Johnson City family who enrolled with us 2 years ago, I guess. And they, because of Dad's work, they maintained their residence here in Johnson City, but they were actually in Costa Rica. And while the family was in Costa Rica, both their students were enrolled virtually and did really, really well. So
They have to
we
maintain their
have-
residence here.
They would have their primary residence would have to be here within the city limits in Johnson City.
It gets really complicated when you start bringing students outside of the district when it comes to testing,
Right.
providing that location, getting them here to test, because all of our students did test in person. They did come to the Henry Johnson building and
But we've had them all over the world at various points.
various points. But in
Yes.
that situation, we were able to
Mhm.
coordinate with that parent to do the EOC when they were back in town.
So
Well, I was just going to say, to piggyback on what Ms. Hall said, I definitely would not want this to become a gateway for vacations and
Absolutely.
other things.
Exactly.
And that we are
Right.
going to be in Florida for a week and we're just going to travel. So, okay.
That's why if you all are in agreement, we like the semester or the full year commitment.
I had a parent ask me over the weekend, if I do that, can I go 9 weeks? Can we go? No. I said it'll be a semester or a year commitment.
I don't know if this would happen, but if somebody from the county outside of the city wanted to do this, is that like a tuition issue? And would we still do that?
That is a tuition issue. I would look to the board for guidance. Would we treat it just like we treat any other student who wants to pay tuition and come into?
Well, in
Johnson
which case
City?
you open that door completely then,
Right.
because we
We
have
did.
out-of-state tuition too. So
Exactly.
I think that's a,
I know my preference.
The logistics would be difficult, correct?
Well, here's my
Would
take
go.
on that.
Yeah.
We do have Liberty Bell as a recommended
Mm-hmm.
tuition school. Science Hill is already a tuition school. So if the board approves that, then we'd have to look at them. The thing is, we clearly have a gatekeeper for who can do tuition who can do virtual and who can't. The thing we want to avoid is having a student who is ill-equipped to do virtual learning, sign up for virtual learning.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons the program is so successful, and the program at a couple of municipal districts in West Tennessee has been successful. There's a gatekeeper. If you struggle, you're in it for a semester, but then you go back to brick and mortar or you go to a different program.
And we do have students that are currently out of district paying tuition to come to the Johnson City Virtual Academy. And it's a great relationship we have with those parents.
so we're doing it already.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are they county students or are they outside of the county?
They're outside of the county. I think we have one inside and one out. One is Carter County.
It's Johnson City County.
It is.
Yes.
I know it gets confusing, but we have
And so is
Washington,
Sullivan.
Carter,
So is
and
Sullivan.
Sullivan.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's some Sullivan as well.
Well, I want to make a motion that we dissolve the Johnson City Virtual Academy and transition to the Pearson Virtual as recommended and given to us here.
Any discussion on that? I seem to remember we did a roll call to make the virtual academy, so let's do a roll call to dissolve it.
Mr. Tom Hacker?
Yes.
Ms. Kathy Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Jonathan Kinnick?
Yes.
Ms. Beth Simpson? Yes.
Ms. Paula Treese?
Yes.
Dr. Ginger Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Herb Greenwood?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank
we're,
you.
We're excited about this.
I think it'd be great if we could just offer no tuition to all students.
You just drop a can of worms over there, don't
Just-
you?
Well, thank you guys for working on all that. That was good information.
All right. That brings us to unfinished business. We have none. So that brings us to the consent agenda. Are there any items anyone wishes to pull?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed? That brings us to recommendations from the superintendent for action.
First recommendation is regarding disciplinary hearing board for 23-24 school year. And that it would include these following members for the disciplinary hearing board: Wes Smith, Chris Feathers, Sarah Wallingford, Tammy Pierce, who's the chairperson, Lucretia Stevens, Josh Simmons, and David Timms.
Is there a motion to approve that recommendation?
I will motion to approve that recommendation.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed?
Next recommendation is regarding the collaborative conferencing management team for the 23. The following members are recommended: the facilitator, Karen McGahee. We are in the process of hiring a new HR supervisor, and we'd like that person to be on this committee. Tammy Pierce as chairperson, David Timms, Leah Valley, Greg Wallace, and Roger Walk.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question. What's the difference between the facilitator and the chair in that?
Well, that's a wonderful question, and I'm not in those meetings, but I can tell you this. Chairperson is the person that leads the collaborative conferencing group for the Board of Education. Facilitator is in their position is to help move things along, keep the meeting moving smoothly. Does that sound correct, Todd? Okay.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed? Okay.
And we have a recommendation for tuition schools. Science Hill High School, which we presented at an earlier date, but this is the complete set of schools recommended to be tuition schools for the 23-24 school year. Science Hill High School, Indian Trail Middle School, and Liberty Bell Middle School. We had discussion about the elementaries. We looked at a couple that may have some room and decided that until we have more space, for instance, the Newtown Acres is built, freeing up space. It's in our best, it's wiser under the new transfer and tuition law that was put into place last year to not allow that at elementaries until we're able to have additional space at our elementary schools.
Just as a clarification, students who are already transferring at elementary can remain?
That is correct. If you're a
This is
tuition
tuition.
student at elementary school, then you remain. And if you have an older sibling who is a tuition student, then you can be considered for tuition.
And remaining as long as space is available.
That's correct.
And this is not for employees' children.
No, to employees, children, we already, board already voted and approved. Fairmont and Woodland for children of employees for tuition at those two schools, depending on where they live. Tried to make it east side of town, west side of town, where they work and where they live, trying to make sure that we have a couple of schools that a couple of options for teachers at Liberty Bell, Indian Trail, and Science Hill as well. If they're a teacher in a school and they can bring their child by state law, or actually an employee, they can take their child to that school where they work.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? All right, that brings us to new business. We need to decide if we're having a July board meeting. I believe we will be meeting on budget sometime. Dr. Barnett, there was something else that you and I talked about.
On data.
Oh.
Budget, when our school system data is no longer embargoed, we'd like to be able to pull the board together and discuss that information as well.
Does not have to be at a board meeting, though. We will have to do, if there's, I think we'll have to do a special called meeting on the budget, depending on what the county does. But that doesn't need to be at our July board meeting. It can be a special meeting. Would it be the board's pleasure not to meet in July?
Yes.
Is there anyone that says, oh, please, let's have a July board meeting? Okay, I think we need a motion to,
Motion to not do July board meeting.
okay. Is there a second? All right. Thank you, Herb. All those in favor say yes? Yes. Any opposed? All right, that brings us to communications. We need to obviously communicate the virtual academy changes.
We talked about communicating to our commissioners.
Mm-hmm. Anything else on here? It seems like we had such a long meeting that there's certainly something else.
And aren't we required by law to publish our tuition schools?
We do. I don't know if I think we are in the new law, but we do that anyway. We'll publish that.
But opening up Liberty Bell and Indian Trail is a change, so
It
that's
is.
something we need to make sure the community
Put out
knows.
there.
And for the record, I looked up, and July 3rd is when they're doing the fireworks celebration with the Pepsi thing. So that would be a great night to try and pull off a meeting anyway.
All right, so there's a motion and do we get a second?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's right, Mr. Greenlee. Motion and a second to not meet in July. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed? All right.
So communication, I have virtual academy commissioners and city manager, and then tuition schools.
I think we voted twice, so well. Sorry about that.
And media, of course.
All right, that brings us to committee reports and information items. You all are welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go. Thank you, everyone. Have a great summer. If you all want to show up here in July, you go for it.